Hello. What's up, boys? How we doing? Tom, how we doing, brother? We got it going here. As you can see, I spent a little bit of money. I got myself a webcam. And instead of using the one off the computer, so I got a little better, whatchamacallit, you can see a little better. And then I've got some lighting in here. So I'm working on this. I'm learning a lot on this, boys. It's an ongoing process, and I will say I'll say 90% of the time I am enjoying the shit out of this. Dave, what's up, man? Mike, brother, thanks, brother. Tell you, like I said, 90% of the time I enjoy the hell out of this, but then there's that 10% where things just aren't working, and then like this webcam I got, I put it up and it comes out, oh man, it's not working. And then it says, well, you got to buy this thing. So I go to buy this thing, and it takes a couple days to get there. So I plug it into this thing, and then I dig into something else. Well, you really didn't need that thing. All you needed to do was to just downgrade or take your normal camera on your computer and make sure that it's off, and then man, it's just, this whole day, it took me about 3 or 4 hours. Actually, if I counted when I first got this going, about 5 hours to get this camera up and running the way it is. And I ain't lying, brothers. By the end of the day, I was about to throw that thing across the freaking room. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, it works. So there you are, start off. Oh, I'll tell you about the dog. I got a story before I even light up my cigar and tell you what I'm drinking. What's up, Darren? Before I even move forward, I don't even know. Screw it. I'll tell you the story. I don't care. I get worried about saying things because I worry about this. Anyhow, when I put ads out on Instagram, I generally just put out, product pictures or product reels, things like that. I mean, and I rarely show my face in it. And so twice now I've done an ad, and I actually pay for the ad, and it goes out, whatever. It's, it's actually not bad on Instagram. Pay for an ad, like $30 for a week, and it gets out to about, 7,000 people. So I'm like, I'll do that. And this last ad, I started getting these really kind of weird DMs. Oh, you're a freaking unit. Oh, brother, look at this and look at that. And I'm like, what is going on here? Long story short, I guess I was honorably accepted, or not honorably, posthumously, whatever you want to say, accepted into the bears of Instagram, which is, I don't even know what the hell that is. And so I started getting some pretty nasty. I mean, not nasty is nice, but nasty as far as nasty as far as I brothers, you want to be gay, you want to do your thing, man. I'm not there, but that's neither here nor there. It was just, dude, if you guys could have saw that the stuff that I've been getting, oh man. So I broke with tradition. Brother, what's up? Thanks for joining. Howdy. Happy you're here, Parker. Look at that, man. I remember. Anyhow, so I'll start rolling on being a Florida hat. Dig that. Isn't that nice, man? Florida grown, man. Mike, where are you at? Are you in Florida right now? Anyhow, so as you guys can see, I am drinking bourbon, and what I am drinking, you're going to say, oh, that's right, you mentioned that. Dude, I used to live in Jacksonville off of Hodges Boulevard. That was, good Lord, 30 plus years ago. When I got out of Tallahassee, I was going to Florida State University, moved to Tallahassee, or moved to Jacksonville for almost a year, then moved back here. But anyhow, I'm having Heaven Hill grained in glass. What's really interesting about this is it is made. So if you guys know anything about bourbon, yeah, going with bourbon, to be a bourbon, you gotta let the bourbon sit in brand new white oak. David, what's up, man? You gotta let the bourbon sit in brand new white oak charred barrels. Anyhow, this Heaven Hill grained glass uses this Chinquapin oak, and it's white oak. It qualifies as white oak, but it's a little different and it's a little harder to get. It's there's less availability. The trees don't grow really straight, but they do partake or add a different flavor to the bourbon. And I got into this. What was really interesting is it makes the bourbon through the oak a little sweeter and a little spicier. It has a little chocolate and coffee notes to it. House of Manners, what's up, brother? Hell yeah, man! This is a good night, man. You guys are making my night. But have you had this House of Manners, the Heaven Hill grained glass? Anyhow, they do this Chinquapin white oak, and it has the chocolate and coffee it partakes in, and then in the tasting notes of the bourbon itself, it says that it's got like a vanilla and butterscotch, and of course an oak flavor. And I got to give it some credit in that I really do taste the butterscotch, and it's got some chocolate to it. So I'm kind of stoked about that. It's got a nice nose. It's not too heavy, about 105 proof, I believe. So when I started digging into that, all right, brother, you got hit church. It's good, man. Well, when I saw the and brother at House of Manners, I'm forgetting everybody's name right now. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm a big port guy. I actually wine and I like some port as well. But I'm smoking tonight instead of a pipe. I'm having my Liga Privada No. 9, which is a Corona Double. And this has got like tasting notes of like chocolate and coffee. So pairing the Heaven Hill grain and glass with this, and if you know a little trick, my dad told me about this. I like to do. I dip a little bit of my cigar into my bourbon, and oh man, as my dad would say, OFS. So if you guys know what OF is, it's out effing standing. And so this is OFS. In my beer tonight, boys. Hell yeah. In my beer tonight, thanks, Parker. Dude, this is a fantastic cigar. I mean, I paid for it, but it's very good. Got the Smoke Eater Beard Balm in my beer tonight. What I like about the Smoke Eater, I think I've talked about it before, but the Smoke Eater mustache wax is heavy, heavy, heavy. Smells like a structure fire, and I made it for firemen, so thus it smells like that. And I didn't want that heavy charred house fire in my beard, so I toned it down with the beard balm with some leather. So, oh yeah, you should give it a shot, David. So, guys, if you like heavy smoke and leather, this is, like I said, I don't really have favorites, but I do like this one quite a bit. The cherry pipe tobacco one, Copper's Pipe, I'm sorry, that one's kind of taken me by storm, but this is really good if you get a chance. And what I want to talk about also was a knife I bought. There's two knife brands that I really like. My favorite is the Hobo Forge and Survival by Jason Smith, that you've seen me go up to his stuff online a little bit and take some classes from him. My next knives that I really dig are Winklers. I'm a big Winkler fan. I've got, I think, 5 Winkler knives. I'm not sure, but so I ordered this one, which is a Winkler Lost Lake Camper. So this is, oh, good God. No, sorry about that. It's an 80 CR V2, 7-inch blade. Look at the spine on that, bro. If you want to baton this is excellent. It's got tiger maple handle. I brought this up with me to the last, not this last one, the skills event before with Jason at Hobo Forge, hoping to get some work done with this. And I didn't get a chance to because I had to leave early and I didn't get a lot of work done there. But this knife is, brother, that's a honker, man. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Hey, Chris, my man, Chris. Love that guy. How you doing, brother? Tomahawks, I'm a big Winkler. I like your tomahawk, Chris. That one that you had, that low one. So got that. And it kind of leads into everything. And I guess I'm moving a little fast here, but what I wanted to talk to you guys about was a call that I had. Well, let's see. I've got my schedule here to make sure I stick to it. Talk to the loss of cam knife, smoke it. Okay, so we're going to get to this. So this is good, boys. So I know with how I do things here, there's always a firefighter story. And I've got a pretty interesting one tonight. Not that the other ones haven't been interesting. Oh, and let me premise this with, I don't know who all has seen my last video, which is never ask a firefighter this question. And in the video, I kind of say, we don't like to talk about, even retired, we don't like to talk about a lot of the stuff. And I can say in the video, if you've seen it or not, I reiterate quite a bit how the situation that question, the question was, at least for a firefighter, that we don't like is, what's the most disgusting and what's the worst thing you've seen? And throughout the video, I can't say we don't like to talk about it. Yet here I am on the live, and every live I have a firefighter story. I want you guys to realize that part of the reason why I'm okay with speaking on these stories is, number one, these are pretty gnarly stories, but these aren't the worst. Also, like I said, there's probably a good 10 that I really don't want to talk about. Hey, what's up, Randy? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. So there's a good 10 I probably will never talk about. But there's a good 100 that, I want to talk about it. And I know in the video I said that the woman wanted me to take human suffering and make it a party, kind of a party entertainment. And here I am talking, and I'm giving her crap in that video. And here I am, telling you stories for entertainment, for lack of a better word. And I kind of noticed and thought about the contradictions in that. And I wanted to address that and saying that, these stories that I tell you are, but Frank, I'll give you one here a little bit. I'll give you one in that second. That's Frank. So I'll give you the best prank. So it's not even really a prank. So when we were in the dorms, we actually had a communal dorm, right? And guys used to come in, and what would happen is you'd have your dorm next to, I had mine next to Mike, and and as you were out doing your shit, someone would go in and they'd kind of take apart your bed frame. So when you go to lay down, what's up, mullet? So when you go to lay down on the bed, it just falls apart. So we're like, all right, whatever. So one day, I wish I got a picture of this somewhere. I could try to find this. So one day, me and this guy, Pete Georgianis, we go to, and it's actually like midday. For some reason, I went into the room to talk, and I went to sit on my bed and just fell apart. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And then Pete goes to sit on his bed falls apart. And we're like, oh man. And then so this guy, Matt, was there for the day. He wasn't normally one of our guys for our shifts. And so we're like, it's freaking Matt, because no one else in the station would do this to me and Pete, because we were kind of the heavy hitters. And so we're like, it's freaking Matt, man. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. So long story short, we're in the dorm, whatever. Matt's doing whatever. So I freaking get completely naked. And I take his pillow and I put it on. He's got two pillows. I got one pillow on my crotch and the other one on my ass. And I'm kind of grinding on it. And Pete takes a video of it. And I'm like, all right. And then we put the video back, and we're like, we're not going to tell Matt that we did this, because he's gonna, we're going to get him, because he realizes that we know that he did it. And so we hold on to that video. Like I said, I got the picture, and not the video. I got a picture of me doing that somewhere. So I got another one. So long story short, Matt, he was there for like 3 shifts. So he goes to bed that night and wakes up next morning. And the next night he comes in and he gets pink eye. So I was clean, but I couldn't help but think, man, I gave the guy freaking pink eye from rubbing his pillow on my butthole. I'm sorry, guys, but this just is what it is, man. I'm sorry. But that's kind of like, if I could find that picture, that's hilarious. There's another one I'll tell you about. Hey, I'll tell you about later. But that was one of the better pranks. We used to have pranks like we would shut the cabinets to like the plates, and we'd have one cup of water laying on its side and the other cup of flour. So the cabinets, it would all lay back and freaking over them. But that was one little prank. Or you put a rubber the hose on the sink, so when they go to turn the sink on, it sprays down. That was a common one. But anyhow, I'll tell you about a story about a fire I had, and this one's actually pretty interesting. So the town north of Clearwater, so I'm in Clearwater, Florida, of course, and the town north of Clearwater, directly north, is called Dunedin. And if any of you guys come up to see me and spend some time with me, I'm going to take you to downtown Dunedin, because that is it's a very homey, not a built up, very small, very great bar and restaurant district. And it's got about 6 or 7 microbrews, a micro distillery. It's a great place. Anyhow, I digress. So, what's up, brother? So, pink eye. So we get called out to a house fire on an avenue called Michigan, which was just outside of Clearwater's district and in Dunedin. And it came in as an explosion. And we're like, okay, well, that's kind of crazy. And, to be honest, we get those sometimes. We'll get explosion calls when like a transformer would explode, and then people would freak out and so we weren't really, we get geared up, and I was actually a tailboard guy. So I was young in my career, and we go tooling out. And I was on the tiller. If you guys know anything about a tiller, that's the one the guys drive the back. I was still sitting tailboard though. So we're responding to this call off of Michigan, and what's interesting about Michigan, it's this kind of narrow road, and where the house was, right across the house, it was a Sunday, was a church, a pretty big Baptist church. And so we get calling out there, and when you go running out to a call, there's a couple things you look for that kind of distinguish that it's going to be some real work. Number one, normally when you get called out for a fire, you can pull out, you're in your district, so you can actually sometimes see a plume of smoke, and that would let you know, man, we got some work. Number two, from dispatch, you hear multiple calls received. And of course, we're in Clearwater, and we are responding to Dunedin, so we can't see a plume of smoke. Not yet, at least, from where we were responding, because we were downtown Clearwater with the downtown station, and we were going to Dunedin. And so, but we get about 3-4 minutes down the road, and multiple calls received, fully involved. Oh no, brother, that's not a pipe. No, it's not a pipe. I went against the pipe grain just tonight because I wanted to pair with the Heaven Hill, so with Dell. So I prefer pipes, but this is what happened to you guys. Where are you? So we get going down to this thing, and we're on County Road 1. And then when we turn to County Road 1 and we're getting down, we're getting closer and closer to Dunedin, we can see the plume of smoke, and we're getting the dispatch notes of, wait, so what's fine cigar flame, get it before second. So we're going, and we get multiple, and we see, okay, fully involved structure fire. And when you get multiple calls received, fully involved structure fire, what fully involved means is you've got a pretty big fire going. And it'll, yeah, buddy. Well, so we see the plume of smoke, and when you're on the ladder truck, you take primary spot up front because you're going to be doing some work. You throw on some ladders and stuff. And one of these days, I'll go through actually tactics for a fire, because we just don't show up and go, ooh, like there's actual tactics and procedures that we follow between, a rescue pumper engine and a truck, and it's all kind of a chaotic orchestra. But so we pull up, and what was funny was the closest unit to that fire was the unit down, was maybe 3 or 4 miles away. Not even 3 or 4 miles. I'd say less than a mile away, on the same street on Michigan. And we beat them there. How we did that. So basically what I'm saying is we're almost, well, no, that's not true. Now I remember. So that's not true. I got that confused with something else. So we're pulling down, and we hear them. Okay, we're on scene. That they give the size up. Sorry about that, guys. I got a little confused. So when an engine gets on scene, they give a size up, and they say, multiple. They'll say, engine 60 on scene. We've got a fully involved single family dwelling with fire on the Alpha Bravo Alpha Bravo corner. But this guy pulls up, say engine 60 is on scene. We've got fully involved structure fire. And what's interesting was they're saying all walls blown out, roof is on the ground. So basically, if you think about that, this house blew up, the roof came up, and all the walls kicked out, and the roof was on the ground. And so we're listening. And so these guys say, hey, we're going defensive. What's defensive means is we're not going to make any, because there's no interior attack to be done. So they're saying, hey, we're going to get a deck gun, which is a big gun that sits, or a big line that sits on top of the ladder or the pumpers, and that puts out 500 to 1,000 gallons a minute. And then we're coming up, and what was kind of interesting is I think these guys heard the same thing as an explosion. They see an explosion, and as they're getting the deck gun ready to go, they actually got a line on the ground, an 1 3/4 attack line. Even though they weren't going to go in, they were going to use it to hit. They had 2 of them out to hit the exposures on either side, so that fire, so the house on either side don't get burning. And what was unfortunate, I think they got tunnel vision. These guys are capable firefighters, and it happens sometimes. But all of our pumpers carry about 500 gallons of water. And normally when you get a structure fire or you get a room and contents fire, you can pull an 1 3/4 line, an attack line, and you make an entry. And that 1 3/4 attack line gives you about 185 gallons a minute. So you've got about 2.5 minutes of straight flow as you're going. And you're hoping during that time, your second unit gets on scene, attaches your water supply, and you're good to go. And you'll make those determinations and verbal communications to make sure that we get that going. So, but these guys got on scene, and I think that they got a little overzealous. So they got their 2 lines on the ground, and then they got their deck gun going, and they left the stack tip on there. Thank you. Very nice. Nice beard. So they get, so they open everything up. Now you figure you've got 500 gallons in the tank. So you've got a deck gun that's got a 500 gallon nozzle or a tip on the end because it's going to stack tip. And you've got your 2 inch and 3/4 lines for your exposures, which are 185 gallons apiece. So needless to say, when they opened everything up, they had about 30 seconds worth of water, and they forgot to catch a fire hydrant. And because they got a little tunnel vision, I get it. That happens sometimes. Never happened to us, but it happened to them, and that does happen. Very capable guys. I love them to death. I'm not trying to down them. So they're going and going. Of course, we're pulling up, and over the radio, hey, we're out of water. What's going on? And of course, it becomes pretty evident. Command gets on scene. A district chief says, "Yeah, guys." He, of course, didn't say it online, but hey, water supply has not been established. So, as a truck crew, we're the only truck crew there right off the bat. And so, as a truck crew, our first assignment, especially in that kind of thing, is a search. I mean, we got 4 guys on the truck. You go, it's called 2 and 2. 2 would go interior for an interior search. 2 would go exterior for an exterior land search, softening the building, which would be forcing doors for people to get out and to cut holes in roofs for ventilation. So the guys are actually performing the attack inside, get some relief from smoke and heat. As I told you, this is the roof was on the ground, the walls were blown out, so there was no need for us to go 2 and 2. So all 4 of us could do actually 360 around the building to see if there's any victims. So we go walking up, and as we're pulling up and we're hearing all this, we're getting ready to go 2 and 2, or I'm sorry, 4. The church is letting out. So across the street, and there's a couple thousand people. Of course, a crowd ensues. What are you going to do? So we go to the back of the house, and we had to break through the fence. And we get in there. There's a pool in the back, so you have to announce a pool because that's something, especially at night, you might not know a pool's there, and someone might walk into the pool. So it's kind of like an auto-generated thing in your mind. If you see a pool, you just make a notification to command, hey, we got a pool in the back. So I'm walking up, and I see the pool, and of course, truck 45 command, or is this truck 45 X-ray command? We've got a pool in the back. And as I'm saying that, I look down into the pool, into right where the steps of the pool are, and there's a dog. And this is probably the worst day, worst day anybody would have, but the worst thing you could possibly imagine. So the dog is upside down, all right, and its back legs are up, of course, and it's right, one of its legs is on fire. All right. And then doesn't matter. One leg is on fire because you couldn't see the other leg because the wall that had blown out had pinned the dog to the ground or into the pool. So the one leg that was out was on fire. And then the dog's head was kicked back like this, and its head was in the water, and he was drowning at the same time. And he really wasn't doing anything. All right. So I'm like, oh shit, man, this dog's dead. Freaking dead. So at that point in time, during that time, I don't, you guys know or not, I used to compete in strongman at national level. And that was right in the midst of my strongman days. And so I walked up to the wall and I'm like, let me see what's going on with the dog. So I go to grab this wall and I pick the wall up and I'm thinking this dog is dead. But as soon as I pick this wall up, this dog just flips in and goes into the pool. And it, of course, puts its foot out because it goes in the water, but he starts swimming for his life. Holy shit. Oh, you got to be kidding me. So I make the, so I said, okay. And he's swimming out to the center of the pool. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's all screwed up, man. So I jump in the pool. I'm all geared out. I jump right in the pool, grab the dog. And again, I gotta find a picture of that, man. That'd be actually a good. Maybe I'll find a picture, that picture, and I'll post it in a post on YouTube tomorrow. I'll find that picture. It's pretty crazy. But I come walking out, so I grab the dog, and I've got him, like this, and I'm getting out of the pool. I'm soaking wet, and I tell my lieutenant, "Hey, LT, I'm you know where I'm going. I'm going to take the dog out front." And so I go walking up, and of course I come out of the freaking gate. There's a couple thousand people there because their church is getting out. I mean, this freaking fire's ripping. The guys ran out of water. I'm holding a fucking dog, and the dog he's alive, but he's suffering, and everyone just goes, you can hear the crowd gasp. And I'm like, holy shit. So I go walking across the street. And of course, the first thing I mentioned was, is there a veterinarian in the house? Is there a veterinarian anywhere? Ricola, and so sure enough, there was. So a vet comes around and at the time I felt like dog was in shock. So I started started taking my gear off. And I was soaking wet anyways. Now, it was not a wiener dog, my friend. Little white puffy dog. And so, the vet comes over and the medics come over because we actually, on our units, we carry, oxygen masks for dogs. And these guys are trained in some veterinary resuscitation techniques and things like that. And they understand maybe where they can grab a line and push some fluids if need be, but it's a different assessment. It's very different. And I was never a medic, so I'm not going to sit there and pretend that I know exactly what they were doing. But I'm kind of sitting there and taking my coat off, put it over the dog because I thought he might be in shock, which he was. And so as we're working on the dog, hey, Brian, what's up, brother? Good to see you here. So as I'm working the dog, I'm really not doing much, to be honest with you boys, because the medic and the vet came over, and I didn't know what I was doing to begin with. I mean, I'll make the grab, but when it comes to the medical stuff, I mean, I've got some medical training, pretty good medical training when it comes to dog animal health to do. So I hear over the radio, we found the owner of the house. And what was interesting was the owner. So that if the house was, here, I'll draw this up. So I can't tell you this for sure, but I think that the owner, it was a suicide attempt. So if it looked like this, and the inside square is the house, right? Now, because the walls were out and the pool is over here, that little ear. So and when we go and we do a 360 search, we're really looking around the house, close to the house. Well, the rest of my crew and the lieutenant had made the search around the house, and then they expanded the search because they felt that there was going to be somebody there. So they found the owner of the house right in that corner. And the guy was alive wasn't doing very well. And so they made the pick and they got him out, started working him. But what was interesting was the guy had about 6 propane, like the big, what are those, 25-pound, 50-pound propane canister, the LP canisters in his house. And they had exploded, and that was what was going on. And I actually don't know for sure if that was a deliberate thing, but I mean, if you're going to have that kind of stuff in the house, and I wasn't an investigator at the time, and of course, you guys know I was an arson investigator at the end of my career. They made the grab and they got him outside. And thank you. You like that, huh? I can do all kind of stuff, but they were started doing some CPR, and I to this day can't remember if it's the guy that lived. So I don't know. You guys like to lift? There's bodybuilding. I don't know. But they pulled the guy out and started working him. And got him to the hospital. And to be honest with you, I don't know. Isn't that funny? I don't know what happened to him, but I know that the dog passed away a couple of days later because I was checking on that. And it was going to be one of those things, like if the dog lived, I wanted that dog if the guy wasn't going to make it. Because I think the dog, I was going to, of course, man, that was my grab, man. The dog wasn't doing very well. And dude, if you guys would have saw, I mean, the wall was literally cutting that dog in half, and the dog couldn't move. And it was just like, and you couldn't make that up. And it was absolutely, it was nuts. And to make that grab, and wasn't a big deal. I mean, there's other grabs we've made that are, of course, much more dramatic, but that was a nuts, man. I mean, the fact that his foot was on fire and then his head was submerged in the water, so he's burning and he's drowning all at once. Who could have thought that, man? Fucking insane. So, and just nuts. But I said the dog passed, and I can't even remember if those guys even. Hey, what's up, Pork Chop? Hey, Tom, Pork Chop. What's up, Pork Chop? How you doing, Tom? So nice to see you here, brother. It was a sad story overall. It was, and you kind of take that as it goes. I mean, it was a success in the fact that we made a grab and we got we got both the owner of the house and his animal to some treatment. So, maybe at the end it wasn't the positive outcome we were looking for, but the fact that Pork Chop Tom, do it, Pork Chop. What up, Pork Chop? Hey, Tom, we're going to start calling you Pork Chop. Absolutely, Mike. And I know as your, yeah, it was important, Chris. And it was tough, man. And I really was hoping that dog was going to make it. And then to know that he wasn't was tough, So was what it was, man. And you got to kind of take the good with the bad, and really got to stop and say, okay, I did the best I could there, and I helped him out, and if I had not found him, he would have passed in a terrible way, and at least maybe they made his last few days comfortable, if you know what I mean. So, isn't that funny how I can't remember what happened to the guy? Well, I can remember what happened to the animal. Is what it is. So, so one thing I wanted to kind of talk about too is I'm really kind of jamming out here. So you guys saw I was talking about a little earlier about the video that I made, this last one with the question you never ask a firefighter, and of course that question was what's the worst thing that you've ever seen? And of course, in the video, I talk about how at least I was at a party and it wasn't a firefighter party, a bunch of accountants, and the way the woman asked it, was not good. And yep, dog was innocent as hell, man. Absolutely. And called my cousin Gravy because we caught him drinking the gravy drippings from the TV dinner. That was like we had I'll tell you about a second, but so I polled a few people on other high stress professions of questions that they don't like. And thank you, Chris. Love you too, man. So the two guys that actually told me some other responses to questions of other professions are on this chat right now, and I'm just gonna leave them as they are, and I'll just speak in what I said or what they told me. So for police, because I didn't know what I had an idea what a police one might be, a question that you don't want to ask police. But the question that I got was, have you ever drawn your weapon? Have you ever pointed your weapon at somebody? You ever drawn your weapon? And and I thought, man, that is kind of that's a question just like a fireman, and I know that what's the worst thing you've ever seen can go on to police, can go on to paramedics, can go on to military, can go on to nurses, doctors, linemen, freaking teachers, man. It doesn't have to just be this public servant and military stuff. It can be anybody, but of course I speak on the first responders because that's my genre, right? That's where I spent my entire adult life. But for the police, I thought the interesting and interesting might not be the way to say it, but have you ever drawn your gun on anybody? And that's one of those kind of questions that I could see as a police officer. You don't really want to answer that question because for at any point in time, you ask a guy, a police officer, I bet depending on the age of that police officer, he's going to have done that. And it's probably was not a good time for him. So you got to be careful about those questions. The other one was for military. And it was interesting, and I hadn't thought about this. So this gentleman I was speaking to, and he gets the most from, when he goes to speak, he gets the most from, right? Because children don't have that filter. But the military question that is not cool is, have you ever killed anybody? And that's absolutely a very personal and a question that I don't think anybody should ask. But you get people, and like I say in the video, as far as like, what's your, when the woman asked me, what's the worst thing you've ever seen? And when she asked me, I think you guys, if you saw the video, I said, seeing a child pass is not a good thing. But what would you never ask a pipe smoker? And we need to come up with that one. But and of course I go on to, I'm going to think about that pork chop. I'm going to go pork chop, Tom. I'm sorry, pork chops there now. But how many pipes do I have? I've got about 15 to 18 pipes. And I would say of those pipes, the majority are 7 Ellies. I've got a couple of Petersons, a couple of Mearshams. Oh, okay. Question not to ask. I'm sorry. Whoa, dude. You got to help me out, man. I've had a few guys. If you don't, I get a little nervous when I go to do this stuff. So I get one in me at least before I come and talk to you guys. just because I do get nervous talking about this, just talking in general. Then I got to fill up a little bit. Sorry. So it's, something I did want to talk about too was my buddy online on here gave me a book to look into, and the book was The Heart of a Soldier. And Chris, I've talked to you about that. If you guys get a chance, I'll put that link in. I got to write this down. So I need to pick the dog pick, and I need a link to the book, Heart of a Soldier. I've been listening to this book, Heart of a Soldier, written by a Delta Force EOD gentleman, and the book is, guys, it's absolutely, it's so good, and I think it's the kind of book that, I would count myself a civilian in comparison to a military guy. I think it's a book that all civilians should listen to or read. It gives you a lot of insights into a lot of what pork chop never has a pipe smoke or anything, but you have an hour to spare. That's right. Pork chop. We're gonna stick pork chop, aren't we? So I'll put the link to the book, Heart of a Soldier, and the dog pick tomorrow in a post, so you guys can take a look at that. And I'm about halfway through that book, and I'm finding it. Pork chop. Tom, I'm sorry, buddy. Everybody's going to call you pork chop from now on. Oh shit, man, that's awesome. I'm sorry, buddy. I love you, Tom. I really do, man. You're one of my favorite people, man. I listen to your stuff, and it's just, I just find it excellent. Okay, it's been okay. I've been called worse. Yeah, you've been called a lot, or you've been called worse by better people, right? So, that went down the wrong pipe. That's better. So, those that call and the pick of the dog, kind of a crazy call, and I appreciate you guys listening to that. And I've got another little dog thing I could tell you about, but I'm wondering if I should tell it now. If you guys want me to, I could. It's not a call whatsoever. It's kind of gross, but I don't know if you guys know. You probably don't, but 13 hours. I haven't read that. Of course, pork chop. I'm sorry. Of course, Tom. I've seen the movie, but I would like to read the book, and it's probably much better than the movie. And so I like to read quite a bit, and I find myself reading a lot of it's either I either read psychological stuff like PTSD, things like that stuff, but I also like a lot of military stuff as well, and I like to read that quite a bit. But in the next 2 weeks from tomorrow, I will be in Georgia, Watkinson, Georgia. If Darren, you're still on, I'll definitely see you. Cook's Catapults. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. So I'm going to be up at Georgia Bushcraft, and it's their spring fling. It's a 3 or 4 day event. I get there on the 16th. I leave on the 20th. But I am a vendor up there this time. I haven't actually been there before, so I say, and this is the first time ever that I'm vendoring. I'm selling at a a thing like that, and or ever. You know, I do all my sales, of course, online. What up? And so I'm getting all my materials put together now, and I have been so busy over the last couple of days making stuff, because I make, I don't know if you guys know, but everything that you get, if you order from me, I mix it, I pour it, I smack it up, flip it, all the labels, everything that you get is done by me. I'm a one-man show. And I mean, down to all the marketing, all the social media, everything is, maybe, you know what, next time, you know, I'll tell you what I'll do. Next time I'll play a song. I know that guitar's pretty sweet. That's my, hummingbird. Greetings, my friend, South Carolina. Love it, man. I have not, how long I've been playing guitar for, this year will be 10 years. And thanks, Pork Chop. Well, Chris, tell Tamir that one thing I wanted to talk to you, Chris, the next time we talk. And I wanted to send Tamir if I'm saying his name right, a message in saying that, you know, the book that he wrote, of course, can be related to firemen, but it is so in relation to me. I went through a lot of mental health issues. And if you read the book, you'll understand, like chapter 15, if you guys pick it up, it's just me all day long of going into counseling and psychiatric drugs, and the psychiatric, I guess it is because of antidepressants and everything. And I just could not buy in because I didn't trust anybody. Hiroshima, nice. It's a good one. I tell you what's a good book. Hold on. One of the best books I've read. If you guys haven't, The Endurance. Anybody read that? About these guys went to the Antarctic and basically got their boat stuck in some ice. Their ship stuck in some ice. And then they spent months trying to get back to civilization, and not a single guy died. And it is, you want to talk about what the human body or what a man can go through. And that book is crazy. All right, buddy. Thanks, Randy. Thanks for coming in, Bubba. Good to see you, man. Really appreciate you coming in, buddy. But I got, Georgia Bushcraft coming up. I'm really excited about that. I'm nervous because I haven't done that before. I'm nervous with the you got the sales and having to get this point of sale stuff going. Yeah. Oh, really? Okay, Chris, I'd like that, man. If you send me his number, buddy, or when you send me his number, please let him know. I just want to let him know how much that so far the book has meant to me. And yeah, Mike, this book, man, this one, and I've got another one. Hold on. Empire of the Summer Moon. This one, if you get a chance to read that, that's about the Comanche and really kind of the last Native American and the war in the Oklahomas and everything. And this book is tits up, man. That's a great book. If you get a chance to look at that one. Flags of Our Father, I haven't read that yet. So, I got that coming up, boys, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm nervous about it. And I've been doing nothing but making product the last couple of days or last week, because it takes me, my beard balms are 4 ounces and per jar. And I can generally make about 24 to 30 at a pop. And I've got, of course, 8 products, and I had, existing stock, but it takes time. You gotta melt it down. You gotta flavor it up, and you got to make sure it's at the right temperature, and you got to pour it and you got to label it, and you got to put it all together. Flag of Our Fathers recommended. And look up the Empire. You'll like that, Mike. But we went over all this stuff tonight, and I can't believe how fast this hour went by. I mean, we're at 55 minutes, and I like to go about an hour. But if we've got some good questions, and this has really been a good time, I've had a good time. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a freaking blast. I tell you one thing I want to talk to you guys about. Yeah, the dog, right? Oh, shit. You guys. Okay. All right, here's another dog story. And this is not a pick. This is a story I'm going to call Snowball. Okay. Snowball, no. So, crap, you're too late. Come on, Grumps. That's all right. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit, boys. I like to cut it an hour because I don't want to bore people, but I'll go a little longer. So I was driving the ladder truck 48, and we get banged out for a fire alarm, and it was like 3 a.m. And God, it's not a big deal, man. It's just, you guys might not find this is, if you were on the truck and you were there, this is crazy. So it's like 3 a.m. and as the driver, you've got to really, everybody else gets up. I remember as a tailboard guy, I would be half asleep, and I put my gear on in the back, and I'd lean into my freaking the pack straps, and I'd just fall back asleep if it wasn't going to be anything. And as a driver, though, you can't do that. So you got to get up and you got to be sharp. So we go southbound on Belcher, which was our fire station on Belcher Road. Not that matters to you guys. But we get going down there, and we're about 3 or 4 lights down from maybe a mile and a half from the station. At that point in time, the engine had gotten there before us and realized it was a false alarm. So he calls on the radio and says, "Hey, boys, this is a false alarm, fire alarm. You guys can go available." Okay, thank you very much. So in that point in time, I go down and I do a U-turn and I come back around. Well, as I'm approaching the next light, which, I mean, just because of this way my mind works, I'm at 590 in Belcher. And to the left is this Tommy's produce store. But at that point in time, there was like tons of road construction going on. So there's only one lane at that thing, right? And I'm going 30, 35, 40 somewhere. I mean, I could go up to 50 on there, but I'm driving a ladder truck that's we ever buy a wiener dog. Chris, I love Wrigley. I love me some Wrigley, brother. That dog is so sweet. Man, oh man, your dogs are, I was over Chris's, man. His dogs are awesome. But I'm going back northbound, and the ladder truck is 47 feet long, and it's 84,000 pounds. And that's without the extrication rope rescue gear. That's just without gear. 84,000 pounds without it being loaded out. So you probably say it's 90,000 to 95,000 pounds. And what I'm getting at is I'm driving this thing, and as I'm approaching this light, and I'm looking off to my right, again, this little white freaking dog comes out of nowhere. And I shit you not, this dog, I remember catching him out of the corner of my eye. And the dog is, man, he's wagging, he's happy as shit. And this is 3 a.m. The dog got out from somewhere. This dog chooses to run right in front of me. Needless to say, when you're driving something that big, there's no boom. You know what I mean? So I ran over him. And so I have to take a left on 590 there, go over to the Tommy's parking lot. and walk back out on the road and pick him up. This is my spirit animal. So I walk over to the dog, and he's gone, man. But I grabbed. Have a good one, brother. Parker, have a good one, man. Take care, everybody. So I walk up to the dog. He's dead. I grab him by his scruff of his neck and pick him up, and he's not all put together, if you know what I mean. He's kind of all over the place, if you will. So I toss him out, get him off the road. And there's, at 3 a.m, I can't. What are we gonna do? There's nothing I can do to tell anybody where he's at, or I can't go search anything, right? That's not good at all. No. Yeah, it was pretty nasty. So I talk about in that last video I did about the macabre, the dark humor. So I get back in the truck, and I'm like, oh no, Snowball. And anyhow, dude, it was just, I make this big thing about Snowball running into the truck and how happy he was. And oh, fuck, dude, I'm sorry, boys. It was just a gnarly thing, man. It was crazy. It sucked. But what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? So I don't know. That's my other dog call. There's been other things, man, cats and stuff like that, but those are the two that kind of stick up with you. Yeah. So in general, you guys got any questions? Thanks, brother. And Mullet, I've been playing guitar about 10 years, and I took it very seriously, and I finger pick, and I like folk music. My whole thing was when I retired, I was going to start playing and singing in bars and stuff like that. And it just hasn't happened. And that's a whole nother story I'll tell you guys about next week, maybe. But I have not played which is crazy for me, because from the time I started playing 10 years ago to about 9 3 months years ago, I played almost every day for a couple hours a day because I wanted it that bad. And I got an opportunity to play. I got a good buddy of mine. If you guys have a chance to see him, Paul Cataldo, he's a folk singer. Guy's incredible. He's not really known, of course, but the guy is incredible. And he and I hooked up, and he's a good friend of mine. He started teaching me a little bit. And then he wanted to give me all of his entire book because he's getting out of it. And then the way we started working into it, I was going to start playing his set breaks. And I was ready to play one of his set breaks, and he got really sick, and he couldn't make the first show that I was going to play and sing. And I was so incredibly nervous. And guys, what's crazy for me is, I guess I say I get nervous talking to you guys, but man, I public speak. I was an athlete for years, bodybuilder. I can get up in front of people and do just about anything. I don't really mind. I do get nervous, but I don't really mind. And the fact of getting up in front of people and playing and singing, and I think I can sing okay. I mean, my voice is good, but I was really nervous. And after that didn't work out with Paul that one day, I just lost heart because I was so nervous. And I'd probably say out of everything in my life that I've trained for hard to do, I've always been successful, but the guitar is the one thing, as far as the end result of performing, I am not successful at, and it irks the shit out of me. And I really need to get to it. What I need is, I really would like Paul's really busy these days. He has slowly getting out of it. He doesn't have the time to coach me. What I really need is a coach. And so I can play, but I need a coach and or someone, a mentor, and not a coach, but a mentor. And I just kind of lost heart. So I haven't played in about 9 months. And that is that. So boys, I want to say thank you. Whomever does YouTube will understand. Some days it's great, some days it's not, and it's an emotional roller coaster. But tonight was. Thanks, Pork Chop. Have a good Pork Chop out. So I'm going to call it here, boys, and say thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. I love y'all. Okay, Rose. Oh, if you guys don't know Carolina, you guys have a great time, man. And if you guys don't know Carolina Rose on YouTube and Mike at Leaf and Bright, man, I'm sorry, I've got it all. It's all coming up. But go see her, man. Check her out. She's awesome. I enjoy her stuff. But you guys have a great night, and I will see you guys next week, and probably the week after that is when I'll be going to Georgia. So I don't know if I'll do a live in a few weeks. Love you too, Brian. You guys have a great night, and I love you. And yeah, you bet, Rose. I love you to death, sister. So you guys have a great night. I'm going to cut it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.